Good day, learners. Today we'll be taking you on a virtual internet field trip and we'll be dealing about the topic democracy and leadership. Therefore, we'll be looking at the key events that led to a democratic government in South Africa. Number one, apartheid, which is the policy of apartheid which enforced racial segregation and discrimination, was implemented by the National Party government in 1940. Number two, the protest and resistance. Throughout the years, the South Africans, particularly the black majority, engaged in various forms of protest against apartheid. This included demonstrations, strikes, and acts of civil disobedience. Thank you.
Um, the African National Congress (ANC) is one of the national parties that led to the establishment of democracy in South Africa. The ANC was the national party that was founded in 1912 and it played a significant role in the struggle against apartheid. It was led by figures such as Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, and Oliver Tambo. The ANC National Party advocated for equality and fought for the rights of Black South Africans. Now I'm going to take you through the timeline of the ANC leaders. ANC was founded in 1912. So the first president of ANC was John Langalibalele Dube. In 1917, the president of ANC was Sefako Mapugo Makgatho. In 1924, it was Zacchaeus Richard Mahabane. In 1927, it was Josiah Changana Gumede. In 1930, it was Pixley Kaisaka Seme. In 1940, the president of the African National Congress was Alfred Bitini Xuma. In 1949, it was James Sebe Moroka. In 1952, it was Albert Luthuli. Please take note that Nelson Mandela was only served as the leader of ANC but not the president due to his imprisonment during a considerable part of his leadership. In 1997, the president of ANC was Thabo Mbuyelwa Mbeki. Then in 2007, it was Jacob Gedli Hlekisa Zuma. In 2017, it was Matamela, and the current president is Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa. These leaders, among many others, made significant contributions to South Africa's journey towards democracy. Their vision, courage, and commitment to justice played a vital role in shaping the country's political landscape and establishing a democratic government.
We will now look into the release of Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was released from prison in 1990 after serving 27 years. His release marked a significant turning point in the struggle for democracy. As I have mentioned, that Nelson Mandela served 27 years in prison. In 1963, Mandela was sentenced to life imprisonment. He called his time on Robben Island the dark times. When P.W. Botha offered him his freedom in 1985 if he renounced all violence, Mandela sent a message to the people with his daughter Zinzi. The message goes as follows: I cherish my own freedom dearly, but I care even more for your freedom. I cannot and will not give any undertaking at a time when I and you, the people, are not free. Your freedom and mine cannot be separated. I will return. Nelson Mandela took his first steps of freedom as he walked out of the gates of Victor Verster prison in 1990, 11th of February. As he raised his right fist in the victory salute of the ANC, the whole of South Africa cheered, because for Mandela and South Africa, life was beginning anew. Democratic elections. In 1994, South Africa held its first non-racial democratic elections. The ANC emerged as the victor and Nelson Mandela became the country's first democratically elected president. This event symbolized the end of apartheid and the establishment of a democratic government. On 27 April 1994, voters began arriving at the poll stations from early in the day. 20,000 people, black and white, stood together in the long queues, waiting patiently in the hot sun to cast their votes for freedom. This was a joyous day filled with hope and optimism as South Africans embraced a new future. The election day was largely peaceful. Nelson Mandela inauguration. On 10 May 1994, Nelson Mandela was inaugurated as the first democratically elected president of South Africa. Almost immediately, the government addressed the issue of a democratic constitution, and in 1996, the most progressive constitution in the world was signed into law. In his speech, Nelson Mandela emphasized the difficulties in establishing peace, wealth, non-sexism, non-racism, and democracy. He emphasized the freedom of political parties and how we free these people from the continuous bonds of poverty, deprivation, misery, gender, and other prejudices. He promised to enter into a covenant in which he would establish a society in which all South Africans, black and white, could walk tall, fearless, convinced in their inalienable right to human dignity, a rainbow nation at peace with itself and the world. Thank you, and I hope that you learned a lot on this lesson.